Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, this winter, so many of my reports should have been on all the wonderful ice fishing that is taking place. But we've had a different winter. We've had such warm temperatures that if the ice starts to form, then it melts again because we have warm water running in and warm temperatures, and it really has made it impossible for us to have a formation of safe ice. And safety is absolutely everything. But I thought this morning, we've had some pretty cold weather lately, so I'd call some of the fishermen that I know that ice fish this area all the time and get pointers for you. And one of the people that has always been out on the ice for years and years is Jigger Jim, who usually tells me about Black Lake. So I called him this morning and phoned it, and he didn't answer the phone. It kept ringing and ringing. I'm thinking, okay, he's either out fishing or something else is going on. Finally, he answers. And he says, I didn't know who would be calling me this time in the morning. I said, Jim, are you out on the ice someplace? He says, yes, but it's the first time this year. He says, my son Seth is trying to take me places to go fishing, and he knows how much I love it. So he said, yesterday we were on the Grass River in Messina, and we really fished hard for walleyes. And he said, I caught one walleye. But he said, Seth caught 8 perch. And he says his perch were about 7 to 8 inches. But my walleye was even smaller. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said, were there other people out fishing? He said there were about 8 people that he saw out there. He says, I didn't see too much happening. But he said, a week ago, a 12-plus pound walleye was taken in that water. So I said, Jim, tell me about Black Lake. He said, they had to cancel the tournament because the ice has not really formed. There's not safe ice. Now, there is in some places. But with that said, if they're going to cancel a big ice fishing tournament, there's a good reason, and safety is the best reason of all. So today when I was talking to him, he says, have you ever heard of a lake called Schroon Lake? And I said, yeah, Jim, I used to drive by it for years and years before I really started doing TV shows. So I said, that was a long, long time ago, but I never had the opportunity to be out there. He said, well, that's where we are this morning. We got up at 4 o'clock and we drove through the early morning or the late night, however you want to call it. And he says, we got up here. It was a pretty nasty morning with snow and sleet. But he said, we're out here on the ice. And I said, so how you doing? He says, haven't had a strike. He says, and you want to know something? We can see a huge part of this lake, and we only see one other person on the lake. I said, okay, more important than how are you doing, more important than what's hitting is how thick is the ice? And he says, well, it's 6 inches. And I says, okay. He said, that's the depth, that's how thick the ice was when I was fishing yesterday on the Grass River. I said, what are you fishing for, Jim? He says, lake trout. And we really don't know what we're doing, but we wanted something different. It is so beautiful here. And he says, I want to leave you with one final thought that I think is the most important thing of all for me. He said, we're fishing. We aren't catching, but we're fishing. And he said, when I go out, I don't need to catch fish to be happy. If you could see the panorama that I'm looking at, the feeling that I've had after being cooped up all winter, it doesn't matter. This is a great day, and he's able to spend it with his son. So I think that says a lot. Even though I haven't been able to tell you an awful lot about the ice fishing, it still represents a way that people can get together, that families can enjoy each other, and I'm happy that Jim's able to get out there with his son. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.